And listen to me, if your parents are somehow defender of Tinubu APC, ni parenti. God just used them to bring you to this mystery world, you need. And this, you may not understand. It's okay. You will still understand it. You know what I mean? So, when you have people like that, you do a Romobi, you know, pure waste of oxygen, so to say. They will do it again. They will. They will curse, they will cry, they will do all of that. But let somebody call her and say, how much is your rent? Let me tell you why she's screaming, so that you can know. That lady that was cursing Yoruba almost a year ago for Tinubu. She's now cursing Tinubu, cursing the people and everybody in APC. Here you get. She's like, we are hungry. Everything is expensive now. A cup of rice, 18 cup of rice is now 1,200. The NEPA bill, the electricity bill has skyrocketed. They actually charged her 70,000 naira for electricity. And she was like, I only live in one room, and then one phone. How can I be charged 70,000 naira? What kind of a thing is this? Do you want to kill all of us, Tinubu? If you can no longer do it, please leave that place. All of you. Now God will destroy you and your family as you are destroying us today. Kilode, what did we do? The last time, 3 days ago, I was in the market and everybody was just dragging me and pulling me here. Madam, you told us to vote for APC. Look at what they are doing to us now. Look at, I beg you never to get swayed by their tears. It's not real. They are so selfish that if I begin to analyze their selfishness to you, and how dangerous their selfishness is, and how myopic, short-sightedness they are, how short-sighted they are. We'll probably spend the rest of the evening talking about that. Do not buy any of their tears. So whatever Shege everybody is going through right now, just continue going until you are tired. And when you are tired, we will know. We will know. So make a go. For some of you still watching, especially the Agbadorians, who believes that there is some magic that these criminals are going to perform. And all of these things, everything will begin to look fine. Everything will begin to calm down. And all those nonsense you are telling yourself to avoid this, in order not to drench yourself in this trauma in a way, to escape this trauma. Only escape. Only escape. So if you look at all these clowns and what is coming out of their mouth, and you sit down there and you still think Tinubu and his guys, they are doing something that some of us don't understand. That's why we are criticizing. That is why we are Baba, you will soon upload your own video too. When it touch you, you will make a video. I will see the video. I will show your fellow Agbadorians pé ẹ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Kadoso Kadibi, Abi Kadobi, it was after reading that prepared nonsense that he blamed those of you who are schooling abroad too. Those of you who are going for medical abroad, when the real people, the real culprits who uses Nigeria Forex for all of this are Kadoso himself, his family members, and the rest of their own elite circle. So after reading that jargons, they started asking him questions. So this might be a little bit longer, okay? I need you to look at the central bank governor of Nigeria. What he is saying in relative to what is happening in Nigeria. I'll come back intermittently. Kadoso Reo.
These members is that given the limitation of these various monetary policies in addressing this cost push inflation, What other alternatives or complementary strategies is the CBN considering to combat the inflation? In specific terms, they want to hear that. And whether there are plans to adjust the current monetary policy rate strategy in line with the prevailing economic situation. This is some of the things they are trying to capture in the varieties of the questions that they are asking around inflation. So let's hear specifically. Nigerians want to know what measures.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think it's important to say that monetary policy tools can only take us so far. The idea is not to rely on monetary policy tools. Monetary policy tools have a way of moderating a situation where the macroeconomic variables are getting imbalanced. The monetary policy tools on their own are not sufficient, and neither should they be considered as long-term to be reliant on. They cannot be. They help a situation stabilize, but ultimately it requires the work of the fiscal. And that is why it is so important that both the fiscal and the monetary must work hand in hand. We have absolutely no doubt in our minds that the monetary doing it all on its own will not work. We have no doubt about that. So let me be very clear on that. That's not the idea. The idea is to at least be able to buy time and give relief to the system while the other inefficiencies or things that are not working as effectively as they should now kick in.
So is there collaboration with you and the Minister of Finance in seeing that fiscal and monetary policies align in tackling this inflation? Is it there?
Yes, it is. And for the avoidance of doubt, because this is very important, I know many times the question is asked about the relationship between the Ministry of Finance and the central bank, which is very important. And to answer that question before I say something else, we already have joint committees that meet on a very, very regular basis to look at these issues in a harmonized manner. That's one. Some of you.
Honorable colleagues, this is a dignified, sacred house. You should allow the minister to answer the questions, please. The governor, please. The governor.
So we already have committees that work very, very close together to harmonize positions that are being taken. And of course, on the board of the central bank, there's strong representation from the fiscal side. So we ensure that at all times that collaboration is in check and is working smoothly. And where I was going to was, apart from the Ministry of Finance, it is also important that the central bank collaborates with other entities of government. Okay, for example, now we spoke about the NMPC, that NMPC moving its accounts towards the central bank also makes for greater collaboration between the two. And Mr. President's directive that all MDAs should have their accounts with the central bank, I think also speaks volumes of the kind of collaboration.
Okay, let me save you the stress. Like I said, I will be coming in intermittently. That is the central bank governor of Nigeria. Okay, the man who is in charge of the monetary policies for the country. Okay, now the question is about inflation, which means that the central bank of the country would have to make laws that would help sort of streamline and or balance the bless I don't know, I'm about to start speaking grammar that won't make any sense to all of you. But let me use my own term, okay? So the central bank of a country, right? They are the ones who set interest rates, okay? They are the ones who, apart from the fact that it's the apex bank that house all banks, is the bank of all banks, okay? But policy-wise, they are the ones who set interest rates. They are the ones who gauge inflation rates. So when inflation and then interest, how to balance them to make sure that the biting of inflation, which is probably going to like okay, the biting is sort of a reduce or balance. You will still feel it. Okay, things will go up, but businesses, they will still have access to easy sort of loans to shore up and back up any sort of a shock that their business might suffer and all that. The job of the central bank. The central bank, apart from printing money and supply of money in the circulation, which is also theirs, they determine how much of money is actually cash, available cash, whether it's in the bank or is in your pockets in the circulation. They will be able to determine that and control that. But you see, the Central Bank of Nigeria have lost all of that. It has gone completely to the dogs. And you see this Cardoso and his crook, the one that is talking there, also knows that there is nothing called Central Bank of Nigeria anymore in the real sense of it. Setting monetary policies or setting this or something to target inflation, they are just all jargons that in practice, practically, right, they have no idea. Sure you get? So they can bamboozle you with grammar. The question is, inflation, they kill Nigerians. What is the central bank doing to ensure that that inflation is reduced? If inflation is reduced, cost of living will reduce. But in Nigeria, when they go up, they come down. You can listen to all grammars you want. But again, I'm going to ask this. Watching that Cardoso talking there, you who has business in Nigeria, those of you who are living in Nigeria, facing this whole hardship, looking for answer, and these are the guys in charge. It is what they do that will either make or mar the economy of Nigeria even further. These are not just people talking. These are those who determines the value of that naira in your pocket. That guy is one of them. So when they talk, you have to listen. It's so unfortunate that the morons, the clowns, the criminals, somebody asked that, are they all stupid or they are just acting stupid? Listen to me. We have established that our brains, as critical, as important as a critical organ as it starts working from the day we were born. 7 days, they say 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year until you join the APC. Because you have to be a criminal to be able to function well in a criminal environment. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. You must be a criminal. APC gives you opportunity to thrive as a criminal. And these guys are not stupid. They just want to continue to stupefy the whole country, confuse you, while the rest of the people paid to further attack and gaslight you will finish the job. They are not stupid. They are criminals. And thank God for the social media. Today, when they sneeze, we'll see it. When they pee, we'll see that. When they fart, we'll hear it. Now, hearing everything they do and exposing everything they do gives us a very big and good insight into all the causes of the problems in Nigeria and the people behind it. That's for social media. And that is too much for these clowns. It is too much for them to handle. Usually all they needed to do was to pay people, pay the media, and shut things down and continue to mislead the people. But social media became a big something that overwhelmed them. They are not stupid. They are criminals. Do you understand? So Cardoso is not just anybody. It's not just appointment. That is your central bank governor. How do you intend to bring down, how does your policies intend to bring down inflation and bring down the cost of living and all of these things? Because it is your job. Now, you are collaborating with Ministry of Finance, Ministry of this or that. He started talking about committees. Is that the caliber of people you are expecting to turn things around? Are those people they told you are working with Tinubu that are going to turn things around for you? And you believe them? I have more. Here, further questions, so they are probing him. This time he's not reading it. And all they can do is like they have all received the same tutorial. Just make sure that whatever you are saying, keep dropping grammars, okay? Keep dropping big grammars. That will keep them confused. No, we are not confused. We can see through the old lies very, very clearly. Here is another one. They're still talking to him about Nigeria economy that is doing shege to all of you right now. Cardoso
is already showing. You see, the mere fact that I said that liquidity has gone up to $844 million as at yesterday is testimony to that. And I'm confident that we are headed in the right direction and these things will moderate and find their own level. The distortions in the foreign exchange market over a period of time has created, in my view, an artificially high rate. And now that we've removed most of those distortions, you see a situation where those who stayed out of the market are now coming back in, and the concept of willing buyer and willing seller is beginning to realize the objectives as they were set out for in the first place. So I have no doubt in my mind that on the foreign exchange side, we are headed in the right direction. I have no doubt about that in my mind.
I like the conviction on your face. Yeah, you're very, very sure what you're saying. That is what Nigerians need to see. And let me ask you, why is it that you've not initiated the engagement with the parliament as allowed by the CBN Act? You see why they are raising all their hands?
Yes.
It's because they have piled questions that have been unanswered because of that lack of engagement. Yes. Are you planning to activate that part of the act to periodically engage with the House to update them on what you are doing so that they will be carried along?
Yes. No, and to be frank, this is Mr. Speaker, this is an excellent observation. Let me say something though. This has been a particularly difficult few months where we had to really double down and understand what was going on, some of which is very complicated, and we had to take our time to unbundle a lot of things and try certain things, discard others, and some of the circulars that we brought out a number of circulars in the past week.
He's answering the question as to whether he will be interacting with you as allowed by the CBN Act. It is important that we'll hear him, honorable colleagues, please. Thank you.
And some of the circulars that we have brought out, they take a lot of time to come to a final stage, a lot of time. So there was not, put in one form, a lot of work has been work in progress. It has been work in progress. Now we have rolled them out, and we are very happy for the opportunity to be able to come and explain to the House how far we have gone and what the future portends is. And as I said, to emphasize again, I'm very, very positive of the future in the foreign exchange market for Nigeria. And going forward, we will definitely use this opportunity to engage a lot better. And it's very important because our monetary policy committee, for example, our monetary policy, it is important to be able to communicate to the outside world what we are doing. And in that process, the House of Rep is a very critical voice that will be like an interlocutor between us and the people out in the constituencies. We recognize that, and we will do everything possible to make use of this particular body.
Thank you very much. There's a question that you have not addressed from Ali Madaki. He said, There have been other CBN governors.
Yeah.
That you came and you are taking some part of the headquarters to Lagos. Is it a politically influenced decision or cost effectiveness strategic action?
Sure.
That people need to hear it. What is it about?
Yes.
Is it political so that they can educate their constituents?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. To answer, quite frankly, nothing political about it. Let me be upfront about that. Absolutely nothing political about it. The central bank.
Let's leave that. We are not interested in that. But just for the discerning minds watching this broadcast, what Cardoso is talking about, trying some policies, discarding out others, is pretty much in contrast to what they told you. Kolu that has been preparing to be president for 30 years. So here is their central bank governor saying they have been doing trial and error with monetary policies, which has continued to kill businesses in Nigeria. And then is now saying they figure out another one that is so positive that in the future, the problem of Forex are going to be out of the picture. Nigerians who have Forex, blah, 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 blah. And he pointed at and announced $825 million. They said they have managed to cough out or scrap out of the banks when they told them never to pay out in dollars anymore. I told you that they denied the policy, Abi, but it is already served on the banks, and they are expecting, according to their projection, at least $800 million cash from that this February. Now, gambling, oh, you get, eh? However, is banking on Nigeria's sufficiency on Forex on something he never mentioned there, but I'll tell you. That's part of it. They said, all of you who have a domiciliary account in Nigeria, they are coming for your money. All of us in the diaspora, they want us to send money through them. In fact, they would like us to send money and send the money for free, like no charges. So that all the money you want to send to Nigeria, they are targeting just 10% of it. They are telling themselves that they don't have to get greedy. If Nigerians they are remitting over $40 billion into Nigeria from all over the world, if they can just get 10% of that, $4 billion a year for a start, then Nigeria can count on a dependable Forex. What do you call them in Nigeria? This was the gamblers. They were using you to play, they are using your future to play 2 sure, 3 sure. And the moment they couldn't get 1% of our money from the diaspora, the expectation was not. There is no real planned investment in the real sector, power sector, infrastructure, industry. I mean, the industries that needs maybe some subsidy, bailing out to keep jobs. They are not doing anything about that. They are counting on the monies that are in the air, the one they can scrap from anywhere in the air. And that's what they are banking on. And that is what your central bank governor is very positive about that. The issue of dollars, and will go soft soon. And they floated your Naira. They said Naira will find its level. Omitigbe Naira low. But with Cardoso, no real production in Nigeria. No improvement in power supply or generation in Nigeria. But Cardoso believed that Odo to Gbe Naira law can also bring Naira back. And he is very sure. One for life in Tagambu. And you're arguing with me. Because you believe that he knows what he's saying. Because the problem, in 6 months' time, one of your videos will come to me like this.
I'm not happy with my president. I'm regretting for voting for my president and for voting for APC. Because this is not what we voted for. You know, we are not voting for, we not voted for suffering. We voted for peace, tranquility, and for to alleviate poverty. let me tell you, if he and his planners are giving reduced fuel price, it will reach common man on the street rather than giving it to private sector who are already plentiful. They are going to share this money, no doubt about it. What do we gain for the past 7 months? We voted for President Tinubu in Milokan. I'm a Yoruba man. I regretted for voting for him because this is not what we bargained for. I'm also a retired director. I'm telling you, a retired director collecting 75,000 naira at federal. You have 5 children or 4 children. How will you cope? Nothing for retirees. We are still suffering. They are telling us that we should manage. The vice president said we should pay APC for 10 years. So until all Nigerians die finish before they can resuscitate us. Let's call spade a spade. This government is not doing well. Thank you. I'm not happy with my.
In 6 months' time, you're going to come here. If not you, your parents. When you continue to believe the jargons coming out of these opportunists, pickpockets, bunch of old criminals in suits and babariga. There's another one. No, don't get annoyed. I just want to have it on record. They ask him for that questions. Central Bank Governor of Nigeria. People where they give you hope. Say everything go dey okay. Now only enemies of Tinubu are the ones at work. They should. If you want to criticize government, you have to criticize it constructively. Babashe hunger where they wire you. They wire you constructively. The cost of living crisis that you are facing in Nigeria today, is that one dealing with you constructively? Then they beat you. They can't tell you how to cry. No, say if people and you want to obey that, then they beat you. Can't they tell you how to cry? And they obey that. And then call you slave. They get mad. People are nice to you, calling you slave. Oh. I'm so serious. Some slaves, like slaves back then, as much as they didn't have any much right? But they still had right to life. You won't believe it. A slave was like as horrible as that is part of our history. A slave's value is his or her life. If a slave dies, it's a loss to the owner. So a slave owner values the life of their slave back then. The Nigerian criminals that are treating you, unleashing this level of slavery on you and forcing it on you to accept it, or you'll be punished. Accept what they told you, or you'll be punished. They do not have any value for your life. You know that. You are just numbered, statistics to them. But we'll come back to that. Let it be on record. Kadiho, Kadibi, Kadobi, Kadoso.
Of that is based in Lagos by virtue of the fact that the banks are in Lagos. Like now, we had a situation where there's need to increase the surveillance on the banking system, especially at a time like this. And it is just appropriate that the banking supervision department is close to where the banking system is. And it works very well, extremely well. For example, I can tell you that I flew out to Lagos just for one day yesterday to talk to the banking supervision department as they were about to commence the process of visiting the banks, and give them a pep talk as to the things to bear in mind as they commence that process. And to be honest, I think in terms of relationships, it also works very well, because where they are closer to the banks, they get to hear what is going on, they can interact with others that interact with those banks and be better for it. So from that perspective, I think that explains that.
So that is on the basis of efficiency, yeah?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. All right.
Cheaper. And it's cheaper.
All right. No point of order when he's speaking. We have a guest. It's not your standard plenary section. We have a guest, no point of order when the guest is addressing us. So round up, Honorable Governor, please.
Okay. Well, I think,
You've touched on all the issues.
yes, I think there was an issue of dollar. Well, that's been. There's a very important issue that came up, which may slightly relate to what I just said. Why is central bank reluctant to wield the big stick on banks? I want to assure you that I have no reluctance to wield the big stick on anybody that we regulate. I have none. I have absolutely none. This is a time when people and entities that we regulate must comply. They must do the right thing. And we will stop at nothing in wielding the big hammer, the big stick, whatever we want to call it, but ensuring that they do the right thing and that they work in the interests of Nigeria.
So what you are saying is that the unreasonable deductions will be stopped
Unreasonable reductions.
from the account. That's the question they asked. They said Sunday deduction.
Yes.
Gentleman, an honorable colleague asked the question here.
Yes.
Sunday deduction. That was the word he used. Yeah,
Yes.
that is Honorable Essien.
No, you did.
Are you saying if they are unreasonable deduction that the central bank is going to see that will stop that?
Definitely.
Nigerians would like to hear that.
No, definitely. There's a process, and once it's brought to our attention, we investigate it, and we will come down on any of the erring banks. We are definitely going to do that. In fact, some of our departments in the central bank are being strengthened to be able to carry out greater surveillance and oversight on the banks.
Thank you. I think we'll leave it at that. Governor of the Central Bank. Thank you very much. He missed out something? Use your mic. I want to hear you. He missed out something?
On the lifting of foreign exchange restriction.
Oh, yes.
Imposed by the previous administration in order to improve local production, but suddenly they lifted it, and I don't know who is going to give this middlemen, I'll call them middlemen because we know them, to import cement that BOA is doing, Dangote is doing, and we are net exporter of cement in this country. And then we are giving foreign exchange to people to import cement and meat and poultry. Of course, it is here.
Okay. I think the summary of what Honorable Sada is saying.
So
what measures are being taken to address exchange rate volatility and its impact on imported inflation? Are we importing inflation by that particular act?
Well,
address it the way you feel comfortable.
yes. No. I think the first thing that I would say, and I think it's very
Order, please. Order in the House.
I think it's very important to understand that central bank does not have responsibility to determine who imports and who does not import. It's not our remit. It is not. And for that reason, we want to ensure that we abide by our remit. Okay, and if there's an issue with respect to who can import and who can't import, those are all trade issues. They do not. It's not for us to now say.
I think it's not more of who can import, what should be imported and what should not. I think that's what Honorable Sada is.
Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking from the strength. I'm speaking from the strength of knowledge. This is from the.
Anyway, thanks for watching that, by the way. I just want to have it on record. Now that you spent the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, listening to the people that are in charge of your ruined economy, reeling out their inefficiency and then incompetency on your screen, would you still feel comfortable and tell people to give them time? The more time you give to them, the more ruins they will bring upon you. I promise you that. And they are doing it well. At least they are unbothered. Put up some show and all of that stuff, and that's it. Nigeria economy is going down. Nigerian banks are declaring profits. Do you even know where they are getting that from? Nigerian banks won't give you their loans to run any business per se, but they will give those money to their lawmakers in Abuja to buy cars, build houses, and the rest of that because they are sure that they will make more money from them. And then they were declaring profit because they are picking your pockets every Sunday. When they send you all those text messages that you never subscribed for. And they are declaring billions and billions and all of that stuff. And yet, the economy they are declaring profit from, the people there continue to drench in poverty. They were kind of being drenched in it. And now they're like, it is called voodoo economy. Voodoo economy. And no wonder that people took to the streets when they said they have banned the sale of sachet alcohol. Since that is what majority are trying, those who have been affected by the Shege Pro Max, you will say, the multiverse of Shege. They have to take to the streets. Oh, my man, somebody said that if you want Nigerians to protest, ban something they like. You understand? But here you are. You have people who have the energy, labor they call them, protesting the ban on sachet alcohol. Here, I don't know if you have seen it too. But I'm coming back to that of this.
DJ, give us some music before we talk again. Music. DJ, play the music before we talk again.
Don't take our alcohol, Don't take our alcohol, You can take everything, Don't touch our alcohol, Just like the women in River State. As everybody is complaining about the economy, now knocking, they are complaining. They said the men are so bothered. Things have affected the men in River State that they don't get time to knock and all that. They said it themselves. We want knocking. We want knock. We want knock. I said, you see, unserious people. Jesus wept. No wonder that the APC had the audacity to tell you that all of you and your complaints are being fueled by the opposition. Things are not really as bad as they are making you feel like. And therefore, all the protests that are currently springing up everywhere now, Kogi women are protesting. People of Kogi are protesting. They are protesting for the hardship that they are facing. They are not protesting against Yeye Bello. Yeye Bello that is currently being charged for stealing by EFCC for stealing 80 billion naira from Kogi Pos when he was governor. His own nephew, I heard, right, is now the chief of staff to the stooge that he appointed as governor in that place. Kogi people no go face and say, give us our 80 billion. We are hungry. But yes, they are protesting too. But according to APC, all these protests here and there, Now the opposition, they cause them. Instead of you protesting, Atiku and Obi, why can't you just offer Tinubu ideas on how to fix the economy? Why don't you just offer him ideas on how to, keep the country safe? Instead of criticizing him, politicizing the problem of the people. Baba, APC, yeah, where they go. APC said that opposition in Nigeria, they are politicizing the hardship in Nigeria. Instead of them to be offering advice to Tinubu, person where they told you has been preparing for 30 years. Shege, you don't prepare for the past 30 years, Abi. Listen to this Olori Buruku, because that's what I see them as.
To fix the challenges that we face. And it must be done with that level of altruism and patriotism. The time for electioneering is over. So any opposition leader today who is simply, saying, oh, people protested in Niger and come out with, a billboard that the economy is, that is completely disingenuous.
Yeah, but they said
it's not helping.
It's
not helping anybody.
When President Tinubu was in the opposition, sometime around 2012, he actually led some of the protests against the removal of fuel subsidy. So he's a master strategist when it comes to disrupting other people's government. And so he's been paid back in his own coin.
No,
what will you say about that?
No, but again, I don't agree. I don't agree. And if that's what the current opposition is doing, they need to desist. Because that's not serving the interest of Nigeria.
Well, in 2012, we had this issue everywhere. And we're just hoping that the President Tinubu knew all of this. And he, along with your party, promised Nigerians that they actually have the capacity to tackle this country's problems. And that's why they went to the polls and Nigerians elected them.
You mean APC and the president promised to do so in 10 months?
Well, of course.
No,
President Tinubu knew the problems.
Nobody promised.
And that aspect of the economy is the strongest point. I mean, yeah, for insecurity, yes, people may say it's not a former military general like Buhari and all of that. But for the economy, President Tinubu consistently, while campaigning, says he knows how to unlock the economy.
And and that's exactly what he's doing, Sambo. Unlocking the economy is not the same as putting a key in your keyhole and turning the key and opening your door. Unlocking the economy is a programmatic, endeavor that calls into question factors that are within and outside of your control. When the president said that he is going to turn the economy around, he meant business. And that's what he's doing. My point is that in doing so, that there are some transient, inevitable consequences which are highly regretted. So I'm sitting here, actually, it's difficult for me. I must, confess.
Yeah, but everybody's feeling the pinch.
Everybody's feeling the pinch.
Including your party members.
Everybody's feeling the pinch, including my family, including, everybody everywhere. But, my attitude, my outlook is that I understand that this is for the time being until these policies begin to yield the kind of results that will nullify and cancel this transient, negative impact that we're feeling. Today at the National Assembly, you saw what happened. All of the key, managers of the economy were there and testified. And the outlook that they presented was a positive one. It was not a gloomy one. As a matter of fact, the CBN governor said categorically, even the coordinating minister of the economy also said that, soon and very soon, the impact of these interventions will begin to, manifestly be self-evident. And I think that's what we need to think about. And, so my sympathy for the time being is with our people. Look,
somebody's papa on national television decided to begin to receive all the curses from the people who are the victims of the failed policies of Tinubu. And when he was reminded that Tinubu was also in opposition, and this was what he did too, thinking he was trying to fight for Nigerians. So how come it was but they have to do it in the clinical? You heard him, Sha? These are the useless, supposed older people that we call us. They would say we don't have respect. You are insulting our intelligence right in front of us. And you are so loud and confident, being so stupid. And you still had the audacity to demand for respect? Eh? How could anybody in that shoe of that criminal demand that has been paid peanut from the crumbs that is falling from their tables, and he put himself in front of a camera and he was lying that he himself felt like he was acting stupid? But you cannot shame the shameless, man. Eh? Such person will now say, I no get respect. You no have respect. You lack home training. Papa, who be that man's papa? Who be him mama? That man that you just watched right now. Is that how he was raised? Even at the audacity. I mean, come on, man. I actually had to share with you what those they told you are working hard. Handling your economy, what they had to say. I just shared that with you right now. Do you have any confidence in those clowns? Of course you don't. But the worst of all those old haggard criminals in suits is what that other clown that you saw on your screen right now took to the TV to brag about and then gaslight everybody. You know they are working hard. Things are tough. Una don't empty the jar. There is nothing left to steal from Nigeria again. You have to create your own corruption to steal. Take a look at this. Nigeria is not an exporter of lithium, but officially. But tons and tons and tons of lithium are being extracted across Nigeria and loaded out of Nigeria. Once in a while, the news will say, smugglers were arrested, illegal miners arrested. But what about those ones they did not? Well, so when people like that now say they are relying on the words of all those clowns to gaslight you, to keep you quiet, never keep quiet. My sister, do you have any Yoruba ekpe that I can manage quickly? Just me do this way. Please give me one.
Association of Emilokan, Ebobi, Orokoyin, Tora Abeyin, Aroyin, a ní kò ń ṣe pé kò wà wá náà kí Yorùbá wà ńbẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n lásìkò iṣẹ́ ẹni tó lè ṣe òní ẹjẹ́ àgbẹ̀ fún. Ẹni rárá o, ẹgbẹ́ kìíní wa o, Yorùbá ló kàn àwa ló kàn o, àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń japa torí pé ìlú ò fara rọ ẹ̀yin nu Ọlọ́run. Àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń rọjú tẹ́ ń pariwo Emilokan tẹ́ wá dákẹ́ nígbà tí ìlú ò fara rọ. Wàláì súnmọ́ bìláì ọkàn yín ò ní balẹ̀. Apollo lásán ló mú mi tọmọtọmọ 36,000 naira ni mo fi ra oògùn lásán lórí Apollo ní àárọ̀ yìí. Ampiclox Bicham 9,000 naira ní tọmọdé. Kò mọ oògùn ojú. Àwa mẹ́ta ní nǹkan imú oògùn ojú ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan cost 2,008. Kò mọ àwọn oògùn tó kù. Ìbéèrè mi ni wípé táwa bá tiẹ̀ lè afford ẹ̀ ta lè rà. Àwọn tí ò lè afford ẹ̀ ńkọ́? Ìlú dẹ̀ ń rí báyìí lọ ogun dẹ̀ gbẹnu òfò dání energy tẹ́ fi ń pariwo Emilokan yẹn lè fi sọ̀rọ̀ nísìnyí tí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó ti di fọ́pọ̀ mọ́yọ̀ rice ti di 60,000 lọ́jà òróró ní pé kí ló ṣubú tóun iyọ̀ lásán gan kò ṣe rà tó bá ní 20,000 naira lọ́wọ́ ò lè ṣe ọbẹ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ kan níbo kí ló fẹ́ fi ṣe kí ló fẹ́ fi kún ẹ̀dẹ̀ dákẹ́ gbogbo yín wò torí pé tẹníbàjẹ́ ò kàn mí gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó bá ti ní tẹníbàjẹ́ ò kàn mí ìjọ tó bá máa kàn yín báyìí á kàn yín ju bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lérò lọ àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tá a dìbò fún tí kálukú ṣe wàhálà ẹ lọ gba PVC o ẹ lọ gbàgbà tá a ṣe wàhálà tá a fi dìbò tẹ wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní mẹ̀kúnnù lára wàláhì tàlá ẹ̀yin inú Ọlọ́run á ní gbogbo yín lára látàyè ìdálùkìá mọ́ ni kí ló dé gan náà you can be like a layman cannot even afford to a living orí lásán ní Nàìjíríà wàhálà ni paracetamol is now almost 1,000 naira. So orí ò tún gbọ́dọ̀ fọyàn lásán Apollo lásán ni mo ná 36,000 naira sí láàárọ̀ kùtùkùtù ẹ̀yin inú Ọlọ́run o ó kù yín ó kọ lọ.
Ó kù ó kọ lọ́run. That's one person who had to express how the Emilokan Shege has affected her, and she could not keep quiet. She had the Apollo. You saw this Apollo your hire, and they had to, as a family, they had to go and procure medication, and she spent 36,000 naira just to treat her eye, like to, you know what I mean, and the children as well. And she said, majority of you who had so much energy shouting Emilokan, Emilokan, some of you have now